Yeah, now you're gonna cancel that out. Okay. Well, all right. So we are talking about our favorite Halloween costumes, and then we've got something fun we're gonna start out with Amanda. So we've got the hideous clown apparently, and the scary what is I don't even know the names, The Conjuring or whatever that y'all were, but it's a movie I will not be seeing. I will take your word for it. That's amazing. Anybody else? Kristen, have you ever dressed up as Wonder Woman besides like a launch and stuff like that, like as for Halloween? No? Wait, you're
No.
what, but what's your favorite, or like can you think of a Halloween costume?
Well, I haven't dressed up much, but I was a chef one year, and that's like totally opposite from me because I don't like to cook.
So funny. May that same no, it wasn't that same one. The same Halloween costume. It was the same festival, just different year. But my friend Jennifer Jones, that many of y'all know, she and Bill, her husband, who's an attorney in Memphis, he dressed up like a chef with like the big curly mustache, like he looked like an Italian kind of chef type thing. And she legit was wearing a box, and she was in the oven, and she was pregnant with William, and you could see her belly through the oven thing, and it was the funniest. It was so cute.
That's cool.
Yeah. Henneka, are you a big Halloween person? Are you a dresser upper?
I'm not, but my kids are. And I tried getting into it. I never grew up celebrating Halloween. But like when I finally was allowed to, I was 15 years old and I dressed up as a Sparkletts water delivery person because that's what I was like, walked around with an empty 5-gallon water container and collected my candy in there.
That's funny. Oh, that's a good idea. Like sticking in there a little. That's funny. I
Very awkward.
we didn't do a lot of like scary Halloween stuff growing up at all. If we did anything, it was like fall festivals and stuff. But I always loved the dressing up part. But we got grounded from trick or treating one year, and it was the worst ground. It was the worst punishment of all time. Like who grounds their children from? We didn't get to go. We did not trick or treat that year, and I will never forget it. I'm pretty sure I'm traumatized from that. So, anybody else want to share a favorite Halloween costume, or maybe what you're going to be this year, or I don't know. Like, I've never been to like well, I have been to an adult Halloween costume party, but like I've never really done like the sexy nurse or the sexy cop or like any of those. I'm always like, "Oh, I don't want to, I can't. It's not for me. I'd rather like be this, like the water delivery person or something funny." Carmen, did you have one? You're muted.
You hear me?
No.
Actually, I was born and raised in Mexico, and we really don't celebrate Halloween. We celebrate the Day of the Dead, which is more of it's a traditional celebration, and we were more excited about that because it's like remembering our loved ones, and we would do things around that instead of Halloween. However, my mom is from the north part of Mexico, and since it's the border, they do celebrate. So we kind of celebrate it, but not a whole lot, because
Mhm.
it's a bad thing. We were told that it was not. So we didn't really dress up for Halloween, but we did dress up for the Day of the Dead.
The day
Like
of
the Katrinas and the skulls, all that. It comes from that day. That's
Yeah, I've seen
important to
Coco.
us.
I've seen Coco. I know all about it. Just kidding. What
Yes.
I know from the
I
movie
cry
Coco.
every time.
It's the best. It was Cross's favorite movie when he was younger, and we have it memorized. But it's very. I mean, I thought it was very well done. It does explain it for people that
Yes.
didn't grow up,
Don't
celebrate.
understand. Yes. I appreciate that movie so much because a lot of people that doesn't understand our culture were like, why you have an altar? Why, it's like they saw it like it was something bad, and it's not. Because I can tell you, I know my great grandfathers when they were not alive when I was born, but I know them through pictures and stories, and that's just so special to me.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that is very special. I think that aspect of it is that's really special. Um, and that song, that little "Remember Me," oh, just such a good movie.
I cry every time.
Good movie. Um, Okay, anybody else? I can't see Audrey, but Audrey, we're sharing our favorite or some kind of memorable, there she is, some kind of memorable Halloween costume, or if you have one of those, like a memory or something that you can remember dressing up as.
As a kid, I had a really close like family friend used to do a lot for us kids because my parents couldn't afford to do anything for us. And so she made us like costumes one year. I think I was 5. And so she made like a little Indian costume and it had like a little, papoose pack in the back with a little, you know, it was a little dress. And it was like, I'm not real big. I don't ever wear dresses now, but and so that was probably like my favorite as a kid. And I think it's just because she made it. And so it was extra special.
Yeah.
And then when I was older and I was doing landscaping, and so a group of us used to always get together and have parties. And so we had one Halloween party. And so I dressed as a streaker one year. So
What? Did you wear like a nude color, like a bodysuit type? I mean, what
I had my overcoat from the army, and then I wore like a strapless bra,
yeah.
and then I had like shorts underneath, and then I wore like shoes to get there, and then I took them off when I got there. So then, if I pulled my overcoat off my shoulder, then it showed bare shoulder.
Oh,
But the funny thing is I had to stop and get gas on the way.
oh, funny. That would be such a funny costume. I love and easy. That would be an easy,
Yeah, it was very easy.
so funny. That's really I love dressing up, and we have a Gary in my attic put it's like through the beams installed a metal pipe that goes about, I'd say probably 20 feet maybe, or 15 feet. And it's their costumes are hanging like I have I have so many like if I go shopping somewhere and I see like a jacket that looks like something Michael Jackson would wear, I buy it. If it's a fedora that has sequins, oh, someone's gonna need this one day. I mean, I everybody comes over to my house and shops for like homecoming week, like where they're having to dress up. Like my sister they had a space day last week for their homeschool group, and I literally dressed all of her children, and her were wearing stuff from our costume area. It's very unorganized right now, but like it's because it's this time of year, nobody wants to go in the attic, right? But I love it. And so one of my girlfriends wanted a costume one year. She's like, just bring me something. And I brought her this dress. I'll have to show y'all a picture. It's a dress, it's black. It's got like what do you call it? The money clips on there with wads of like $100 bills and diamond rings of all different colors and like dollar signs. And I have a big fat gold chain with big gold dollar sign on it that I got completely separately somewhere else, and these black boots or whatever. And she's like, what is this dress? And I was like, you're going to dress up as a gold digger. And she was like, that's amazing, but why do you have this? And I was like, I found it at the Goodwill. And she was like, but why did you buy it? And I was like, how could you not? Like, if you saw this on the hanger, why would you not buy it? She's like, you're a crazy person. I can't help it. I can't help it. But you need to be a pirate? I got you. Do you need to be a gypsy? I got you. Do you need to be a belly dancer? I got you. It's all the things. I got them all. And it's all in the attic. So that's what's really funny, but nobody likes to go up there. Anyway, all right. So that was a really long icebreaker. I apologize. I really wanted to hear all those stories though. That was really funny. But I invited my friend Amanda to hop on here. I know a couple of you local girls have met Amanda, and if you were part of the SheMoves community during the quarantine when we were still doing daily workouts via Zoom, Amanda did several for us. What did we ended up calling it? Was it Hit with Heart or Heart with Hit, something like that? We did kind of she had this really cool like idea to weave mindfulness through a workout, because Amanda does CrossFit style workouts too, and it was really cool. I love that. But so y'all might have been able to hop onto that, but I've asked her to come on here and do a little mindfulness piece for us here at the beginning, and she's got to hop off and get on another call. So I hope I left you enough time, Amanda, but I'll just turn it over to you. And I have to brag on her a little bit because Amanda's like super, super, super intelligent, and she is a physical therapist. She wasn't our physical therapist at St. Jude, but she's a physical therapist at St. Jude. And she's been going through courses to really just, I mean, in case you were going to introduce yourself, Amanda, to really bring awareness to to just being, and to her feelings, and to like sitting with discomfort, sitting with grief, or sitting with happiness, like all those things. And it's just she posts videos, and sometimes she's just standing in the rain and dancing, or standing in the rain and screaming, or whatever the feeling is. And it's really inspiring. So I hope you guys enjoy what she's going to bring us today. So I'll turn it over to you, Amanda.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, I'll give myself a little 2-minute bio, or less. Will you also, while I'm doing that, can you make me a co-host so I can use music too? So I have weaved in and out of the X Endurance SheMoves platform throughout the last 2.5, 3 years. I am a physical therapist by trade. COVID, like a lot of us, opened our eyes to many different things, mine of which centered around this mindset work that I had been a part of for, I would say early 20s, if not a little bit more. I was just finding myself in these cyclical patterns of behavior, of thought, of lots of different things. And I had read all the books and done all the blogging and the connecting and all of the things. And I still felt like I was meeting this wall. And so I was introduced to a program called Training Camp for the Soul, which basically takes some mindset work along with something called somatic healing, and kind of bridges those things together. And for anyone that doesn't know what somatics is, it's basically just tuning into your body and the sensations within your body. We won't necessarily be doing that today per se, but it deepened my level of understanding of what we experience in our lifetime, and how we have come to be the people that we are. And so Sarah mentioned that later this evening, I have another call. I do a monthly breathwork and meditation call as well. So if any of you are interested in diving into that, you can just get me your email, or just let Sarah know, and we can connect another way. But meditation and mindfulness, through breath, through meditation, through movement, has become a new passion of mine in these last 2.5, 3 years. And I'm currently in a mastery program with Training Camp for the Soul, to be able to facilitate the work that they're doing. And through that, I have been equipped with a massive amount of tools to be able to take others through mindfulness practices like this that we're about to do. So I do have, since we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, I have a little bit of themed music that we will go along with. I'm going to share my sound and my screen. And if you are not in a position right now where you are super comfortable and you're able to just relax, I invite you to get into that spot. Some of you look like you're very much vegged out, which is great. This is something that I'm going to invite you guys to, if you feel comfortable, if you feel safe, to close down your eyes, be with what is currently, and I will guide you through that. If it feels edgy for you to close your eyes, I just invite you to soften your gaze to something in the room. But there is no judgment here. Whatever we're about to do, whatever comes up for you in this practice is perfect. And there's no being good at this. There is just what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys get comfortable. If you need to make any last minute movements, I'm going to also just check in if you guys will give me a thumbs up that you can hear that music that's starting. Anybody give me a thumbs up? Yeah, cool. Perfect. So yeah, just inviting you to close your eyes or keep them open and fixed to a specific object in the room. You may want to uncross your arms if they're crossed, uncross your legs, maybe even flip your palms open to the sky in just a moment of reflection and a moment of tuning in to what you are present to right now. You may find that your thoughts are all over the place. There may be feelings of resistance to even tapping into this modality, and all of that is just as it is. Just invite you to slowly notice your breath, quality of it, maybe fast or slow. And if it is a quicker pace, just slowing that down, maybe for an in breath of 4, counting to yourself or out loud, you're all muted. And then exhaling for a count of 4. This can be through your nose or your mouth, whatever's most comfortable for you. And as you inhale, focusing on that belly expanding, and then our chest before we exhale out. If you notice that your breath is just in your chest, allowing yourself to lean into that expansion of your lower trunk, your belly, really sinking into this stillness. Sunday, and for so many of us, it's not always the slowest day. We can get caught up in the preparing and the doing. So now you give yourself the gift of stillness, of just being. Again, checking in as you've slowed down to anything that you're present to within your body, any sort of tightness, fluttering, constriction, any sort of discomfort. Can you send your breath there? It may feel silly, sounds silly to send your breath somewhere, but can you expand that area with your inhale? Offering it safety, letting it know that you and it can surrender. You can relax even more. Continuing to focus on that area with just this loving awareness. No need to change or fix. The feeling that you were initially present to may have eased or moved, shifted, fizzled out. Thanking yourself for the ability to shift that energy, to give yourself the rest and the ease that you may not know that you deserve and that you're worthy of. The season of autumn and fall, as the leaves change, noticing where else can you receive and soften. Where can you openly invite in change and rest? If throughout this you feel those thoughts, those stories, phrases, to-do lists popping up, just telling your brain thank you and letting those thoughts and to-dos, those lists, acts of action, watch them just seep away, drift away as you return back to your body. Shifting your focus back to being, to surrendering to this present state. And in this last minute of this mindfulness, we'll take a deep inhale in, again, utilizing that belly and then chest. Completing this inhale either through your mouth or your nose, taking up the biggest breath that you have taken all day, seeing if you can expand in all areas before exhaling that out in whatever way feels comfortable. Pushing it out like a straw, sighing it out. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling in, expanding the sides of your rib cage, the front, the back, bringing that up through your chest, up into your head, being with whatever discomfort or resistance may be there to this biggest breath that you've taken all day, and then letting that wash out through an open mouth. And then just sitting in this silence for a couple more moments. Noticing any shifts that's occurred in just this very short 7 minutes that you have paid it forward to yourself. Knowing that you can return to this state at any time throughout your day, in the shower, in bed, while you're driving. This peace, this contentment, this stillness is possible. We only need the time and the space to do it. Now I invite you to slowly wiggle your toes and your fingers, bringing yourself back to your current space. When you feel called, you can flutter your eyes open. And since we're on Zoom, I would encourage you to look around the room if you've closed your eyes, taking in your surroundings before coming back to the call. You guys did a fabulous job. And I'm very grateful to be able to have shared those 7.5 or 8 minutes with you all. So hopefully that prepares you for all of the fun that you guys are about to have. You can stay in this energy however long you want. And yeah, thank you guys for having me. Again, if you want to connect outside of SheMoves Soiree, Sarah can let you know how to find me. And yeah, I'm just very grateful for you guys. I'm going to hop off now to get ready for my other call.
That was lovely.
But you guys, yeah, you guys have a great time.
Do you want to put your email in the chat?
Oh yeah.
People,
Yes.
your email, and then she is the Somatic PT on Instagram.
Yeah.
Give her a follow. Thank you so much, Amanda. That was lovely.
Yeah, anytime. This is like so fun for me. I love watching you guys come back to the call and even seeing the shift in you, even though you may not notice it yourself. So kudos to you guys for dropping in and leaning in.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Bye, ladies. Thank you, Sarah, for hosting this.
Thank you, girl. Appreciate it. Yeah, there's her stuff, her info in the chat with email and her Instagram. All right. So that was so fun. She Amanda's the one who did the mindfulness piece through our SheMoves event here in Memphis area last year. And it was wonderful. I loved it. I don't know about y'all, but I just don't sit still very often. If I stop moving, usually I fall asleep anyway, but I love it when I'm having to be mindful of the breath and all those things. So that was great. So I know, Carmen, you're not driving, right? Your daughter's driving. Okay. Yeah. She's not driving. Okay. You are driving? You don't look like you're driving.
I'm driving.
Oh,
I stopped. I told you, because I promised you that I would be here, and I stopped for this. Yes.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, you keep going. I don't want you to have to like delay your trip, but I did ask Carmen to share her story because it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and because I am friends with Carmen and I get to see her interact with people at our gym and in our classes and stuff like that, I asked her, hey, like I would love for you to share. And she approached me and was like, I don't even know what you mean. Like, what do you mean? Like, what story? Like, what do you talk about? Because she's shared her ex endurance story before with us and talked about products and how the products helped her and things like that. But just like I told her that day, and I'll share with y'all, I feel like, and I said this to Amanda before everybody got on, that in the sense that, I woke up and I was just born American. I didn't have to try to be an American and didn't have to go through any kind of struggle to wake up every day and do what I do and live here. And so I watched a friend of mine, some of y'all know Alondra. I watched her story of her really pursuing her citizenship in America, and it was one challenge after another. I mean, it was one thing after another. She had so many obstacles. It was so hard. And then being able to celebrate when she achieved it with her on social media, it was really neat to be a part of that journey from an out, like a perspective of an onlooker. But I feel like sometimes I take for granted that there are women, a large good chunk of women in my classes who I told this to Carmen the other day. I said, they don't understand what I'm saying the whole time. Like, some of them speak so little English that they probably don't know anything but maybe my counting. But yet they come every week to all my classes and they show up and they do the work and they try so hard. And I said, it'd be like me going to Mexico and taking a fitness class and not knowing anything the person was saying and just have to copy their movement or watch what they're doing. And it would be so challenging. And it would, I say a lot of encouraging things in my classes that these girls are not even hearing it, but yet they keep going. And so it just, like, that's so inspirational to me. But I watch Carmen interact with these ladies and get to know them and talk to them, and she'll introduce me to them, and she's had so many friends that have come and joined the gym. It's just been really neat to watch. So Carmen, I know that you were kind of unsure about what your story is, but I would love for you to just share whatever it is that you'd like to share. Like, if there's any kind of your history that you want to share with us, any struggles that you've overcome, anything like that. You're in a safe spot here. I just want to appreciate you and hear some of your story, whatever you're willing to share.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Well, like she said, my name is Carmen. I was born and raised in Mexico till I was 18 years old. I actually, on my birthday at 18, I was moving to US to learn English, because by the time I had finished nursing school. So I came to the US to study, which I never did really. I started working because, we have to pay things. So long story, I spoke no English. I was so blessed to find this family that needed a nanny. So I worked as a nanny and I learned their English. So I saw the need, like being a nurse, and whenever I was sick or my family was sick, looking at people not being able to like speak the language was really, it broke my heart. Like, these people are in pain and they don't know how to communicate. So that was like my motivation in the beginning. So I know Sarah says that, she talked about these ladies that come to the gym and they don't speak. They speak probably 20, 30%, but her body language is enough, Sarah. So thank you, to motivate everyone in the class. That's why we stick with the program. That's why we are there, because, you're such an inspiration. And, I'm there for you, for them. And every morning I send them a text, hey, let's go to the gym. And they're my community. I want them to feel happy. I want them to feel confident and healthier. That's important for all of us. And being Hispanic and being able to pull them, from their house. And we're all moms. All the girls that are there are moms. We all have 3 kids, 4 kids, or even more. And they all have all these things to do, but we don't have the time for us. Like Sarah said, we don't sit down. And just being able to send them that message and think that, oh, well, she's going, I'm going to, because, she'll be there. And sometimes Sarah says, punch with the right, and they're punching with the left. I'm like, derecha, derecha. And it's funny too. So, we enjoy it. We really appreciate you, Sarah, because you're very patient too.
Well, it's funny because I did try to learn some Spanish words, and I said a few of them, in class one time, and I'm so limited, obviously, in what I was saying, but I thought I'm going to make it my mission to start learning at least some phrases here and there so that I can throw them out there and, and make them like listen and go, oh, she just said I am powerful or I'm strong or whatever. I'm going to, yeah, I feel that way. And so, and I have to tell you, this is a joke. This is so funny to me. Y'all know Sabina. Well, Sabina and I were talking the other day, it was last week, and I was telling her that story about like trying to learn some phrases that I could say in the class. And she said, oh, you should add this word. And she screenshot a word and sent it to me. And so I've got a really good friend that I've got really close to this guy named Jorge. And he's from Chihuahua, where I've got, it feels like that's where a lot of my friends are from. And so that are from Mexico, but I was telling him about this new phrase that I was going to use. And I said, I didn't even think about this one, but I said, so it's the word for powerful. And he said a word, and I said, no, that wasn't it. I said, hang on, let me find it in my brain. And I said, it would be soy poderosa. And he goes, no, you wouldn't want to say that. And I was like, well, why is it bad? And he said, no, that's like all powerful, like a witch or a wizard. I was like, can you imagine if I said that in a class, the women would go, what? But I don't know if it was just the word that Sabina, she like Googled it, Googled a different word for the word. I don't know. I forgot. I was actually going to share that with her on this call today because it was so funny. But you guys are all powerful like a wizard in this kickboxing class. But anyway, all right. So I digress. But so Carmen, so she and her husband, their family, they live here. Actually, anytime I need like a referral for anything, I always ask Carmen because her husband's like a contractor, a builder. He knows all these people, and they just built a house, and so he knows all these people. But it's really fun. We had a cookout last summer. The girl who hosted it wasn't able to come to the gym as much this summer, but it was so fun. It was my first time trying the aguachiles, and it was Carmen made them, and it was amazing. And that's what I get everywhere I go now. So good. Anyway, it was just really fun. It was fun to just be around people that are like we're all moms, like Carmen said, we're all moms. We all go to the gym together and stuff, but it's just I just love that, like mingling different cultures and learning and trying new things. And anyway, the fact that Hispanic Heritage Month is a thing gives us an opportunity to just dive in and do a little bit more of that. So anyway, yeah, Tiffany, I was like, I know it's somebody else too. Isn't there someone, there was somebody else that we both know, and I can't think of who it is that I thought that is from there.
Probably Vanessa, I think her mom or dad are from Chihuahua.
Well, I know several people who live here, but I feel like there's somebody that's in Next Endurance that we both know that's from there too, but I don't know. But anyway, so is there anything else that you would like to share, Carmen? Like you, I mean, obviously the hardest part you said was not being able to communicate with people, in the hospital or like in your nursing position and stuff. But you learned, I mean, just being around this family, that was how you learned English?
Yes, because I live with them, and they were out a lot because he was the CEO of Northwest, and she was doing cutting horses. So I would have to stay with the kid by myself, and we read every night, and I was reading in Spanish an English book, and he knew his book, so he would say, "You don't say it like this, you say it like that." So that's how I learned.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's been a long journey, but I am very grateful for just being here in this country, and I love my culture and I love my family. It was hard leaving them, but I thank God every day that I'm here, that my kids were born here, because we have a bigger opportunity here to grow. as a entrepreneur, as students, everything is just a much bigger chance to do things here than unfortunately in our countries.
Yeah, I love that.
And I appreciate you a lot, Sarah, because you embrace every culture, and it's just we're all ones. We are all one child of God. That's what I want to say. We're all the same. We're all the same.
Yeah.
With accents,
Yeah.
with accents, but we're all the same.
That's what I did. This is earlier. I meant to say this when Cross came out and it was looking at everybody, and then you said, hey, they're cute, or you said something to him, and he whispered in my ear. He said, what did he say? He said,
what did she say?
No, he said she's speaking another language, or she's speaking Spanish. He said something. That's why I said, oh, you could tell her hello, and but anyway, it was funny that you said it in English, but he immediately picked up on it and was like, nope, that was definitely not the way my mom would have said it. So it was, he heard it. He heard the accent. Speaking of accents, he's, bless him, he doesn't even understand that we have a Southern accent. Like, he doesn't know what that is. He doesn't hear it, because we all talk like that.
It's normal to him.
Yeah, it is normal to him. So Tiffany, did you, like, I know you said that, like, that's where your mom is from. Like, growing up, did your mom ever share any specific, like does she ever share any of her story that you think would be worth sharing to, like, right now, or anything like that, or any challenges that she has, shared with you and things like that?
No, my mom, when she was 2 years old is when my grandmother brought her and moved to New Mexico. So my mom, even though like that's where she was born and that's where she's from, she's lived in the US most of her life. Most of like the things like our traditions come from living in New Mexico. So we have a lot of like Southwest, like Native American kind of things that we do like in our home. And so she didn't really bring much of like the Chihuahua or anything kind of tradition. My grandmother, she's a whole other story. She's the one that like really like, loves family, wants the family to be together. Her thing, like, she makes tamales like every year. She makes tortillas from scratch, like, and every time she comes and visits us, she always makes us like all the tamales and all the tortillas, and my mom like layers them and we put them in the freezer and we have them for like, for a couple of months, like they're there, because nobody makes them like her, no matter how hard we try. So like, those are the kinds of things that I really loved about my family, and that like, I want to make sure that I keep around. And that's what brings like my passion for cooking and stuff like that, is because I grew up that way. That was our love language, like food in my grandmother's family. So cooking and us all eating together at a big table and stuff like that is how we do it in our family.
I love that. Yeah, Hennika says in the chat her mom's big on family too. Where's your mom from, Hennika? No mind me asking.
My mom is from Guatemala City, Guatemala. So she came here to the States when she was 18 or 21, and she learned English also, just like Carmen, as a nanny, watching her operas.
Yes. Okay, so it's funny that y'all are talking about that, like learning from the TV, like from TV and from people and stuff. Obviously not of Hispanic descent over here, but my Oma is German, or was German, and she, when she married my Opa, who was in the army and moved to the States, she learned watching like I Love Lucy and like all those like old, like I Dream of Jeannie shows and stuff like that. That's how she learned English, and she ended up eventually owning her own well, back then it was called a beauty shop, a beauty salon, and learned, like, learned English as she went. But when we would just talked about her the other day, because I taught my kids how to play Yahtzee and they love it. They're like, but Cross, my 6-year-old that y'all just saw, like he's weirdly good at math and numbers and all the things, but Yahtzee is not a game of skill, right? You'll know it's just the rolling of the dice. The only skill is, should I put this under my twos or should I go ahead and take it as a full house? Like, that's where you got to navigate. He had 3 Yahtzees in one game, like just And my Oma was like that. My Oma would always win Yahtzee because she was amazing at it. And nobody would really figure out why. But what I will never forget, and tell me if this is true for y'all who have, you know, mothers and grandmothers that you know, Spanish is their first language. Hearing my grandmother, I could still hear her doing it. She would add up her numbers in German. She never, like my aunt and my mom were talking about it the other day, that when I was sharing this with them, like that's something I remember. They said she always counted in German. She never counted in English. She never did math in English. She always did that in German. I always thought that was so interesting to me. It was like, that was just one thing that she, you know, I mean, there was really no need for her to count out loud in English, like, or do math in English, but I thought that was kind of a neat little memory. That, you know, never bothered to learn how to add up in English, I guess, which makes sense. But she and my Opa were also very, very big on family. And I think that also is a generational thing, you know, too, like family gatherings and things like that, where they don't seem to be as big of a deal to a lot of families now. So anybody else want to share anything? This has kind of been fun, just like not having like an ironclad agenda. I mean, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be about your family or anything like that.
Funny story. In 2014, after I had my third baby, my mom she's very emotional about like family traditions and losing tradition when she dies, and she's big on just saying that a lot. So one year she's like, I'm not making tamales. You guys don't want to keep it on. She's like, forget it. I'm not doing it this year. You know, I'm done. And so I told my wife, I was like, I can't have Christmas without my tamales. Like it's like impossible for us to celebrate Christmas without our tamales. And so my wife, being as supportive as she is, she's like, then let's make tamales. So we bought all this stuff, and my mom had already taught me how to do it. And we were vegan back then. So we were making them vegan. And when we showed up to my mom's house for Christmas, she was also in the process of finishing up the tamales. So I gifted her a bag of tamales, and then she gifted me a bag of tamales as well.
Did she make them vegan for y'all?
Yeah, she did.
That's so sweet. I love that. I have only, I don't get to eat tamales very often because I mean, I'm not vegan, but I don't eat meat. And so when my brother has I'm gonna say it wrong, but it's like a Primo grill, but it's like the Komodo Joe, maybe. He makes fun of me because I usually say Komodo Joe, like commode. I don't know. Anyway, I'm saying it wrong. But he did tamales yesterday on his and brought them over today, and everybody was just raving about them, like wrapped up in the husks and all that kind of stuff. And like I couldn't try it, you know, but somebody made me some with like peppers and stuff like that inside of it, and they were glorious. And I know there are cheese tamales out there, but I don't ever get them, and so I feel like now I need to go find some good tamales. They're probably not going to be up to the standard of Tiffany's Tiffany's grandmothers and your moms and stuff, because that sounds legit. Like putting them in the freezer and just being able to have one whenever you want. That would be amazing. Jealous.
In Guatemala, we don't use corn husks. Those are called chuchitos. What we use are banana leaves.
Is that Tiffany? Is that what y'all use?
No, we use the corn husk. Like we have to soak them in the sink and make them soft. And but I've had the ones in the banana leaf. They're so good. Yeah, I've had those ones too. I mean, I guess it's like I think it just depends on like what part of Mexico too, and like what other countries you are. Everyone has their own way of doing it. It's like, you know, when you have like an Indian food, every family has their own recipe for like, you know, chicken tikka masala or something like that. You know, there's their own flavors to it. Same with like how you wrap the tamales and what you put inside. So, you know, everyone's recipe is different. Like I like the cheese with the jalapenos in it. It's so good. They're my favorite. And then like green chili, everything green chili, especially if it comes from New Mexico, like hash green chili all the way. There's like always green chili in my freezer. My grandma sends it to me, and then I roast them here and I put them in the freezer. So those are like some of the things that I've kept, like, you know, in my house. So
sounds really good. Have you had the Trader Joe's? Like, it's dried, since you make your own, you probably don't want them, but the Trader Joe's has Hatch, like red and Hatch green chili pepper flakes, like in a dry, like they're not just the red pepper flakes, it's the green in there too. It's so good, and I've put that on everything at this point.
I haven't had theirs, but I bought some on my trip in New Mexico, like the dried ones, and like I have a huge bag of it. Like you can just like sprinkle it and stuff. Yeah. So good.
Between your mushroom talk last month and then all the taco tamales this month, I feel like we're gonna have to have some kind of supper club at some point. We're gonna have to like try new recipes. We did try to do a cookbook. Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, we could still do one. I just don't think that it would be something that, you know, like it would be one that we just put out.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot of recipes. I'm like, I know y'all have some good recipes. Send them. But anyway, well, our time is drawing to a close, and this has been really fun. This has been really good and productive. I love that we started out with some memory lane with the Halloween stuff, and then we're going down memory lane here at the end, talking about food and family and all that. We are still in the very, very beginning stages of planning our retreat. It's going to be in February. It's the middle of February. So I want to say it's like the 16th, 17th, 18th, whatever that weekend is. Still looking at locations. I had no idea that part would be so overwhelming. But hopefully it'll be something that everybody can join us on. I have only been on one wellness retreat for myself personally. And so I feel this has been a dream of mine for several years, and I think it'll be just so much fun. So it'll be like this, but like for days, and we'll be all together, and it'll be so great. So be sure and mark that in your calendar. If you have a 2023 calendar, I don't have one yet. It's really bothering me that I can't plan that far in advance. Because I don't get my calendar until Black Friday weekend. So order my new one. So anyway, well, unless there's anything else anybody has to add or wants to add, I'll end the recording and stop the call for now, and look forward to seeing you guys in November. So anybody else got anything? Y'all are amazing. Thank y'all for jumping on. This is really wonderful. Great way to close out our weekend. I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.